Tuesday, a jury convicted Kim Taylor on more than 50 counts of election fraud. Her husband, Jeremy Taylor's position as a Woodbury County supervisor is now being questioned. And as KTIV's Matt Hoffman tells us, another fellow supervisor wants Taylor to step down. Matt?
Here's a refresher on the case. Kim Taylor's attorneys say they will wait until after sentencing to decide whether to appeal her conviction, and the fate of her husband, Jeremy Taylor, is now up in the air. A federal jury returned guilty verdicts against the wife of Woodbury County Supervisor Jeremy Taylor on 52 counts of voter fraud on Tuesday. She faces up to 5 years in prison on each of those counts. Taylor was found guilty of illegally filling out voting materials and forging signatures on voting affidavits. Jeremy Taylor was not charged, but prosecutors maintained he was an unindicted co-conspirator. 2 of Jeremy Taylor's fellow Woodbury County supervisors are calling on him to resign and to give up his spot as the vice chairman of the board. Chairman Matthew Ung told KTIV he believes Kim Taylor was, quote, set up to take the fall, end quote, for Jeremy Taylor. Ung attended Tuesday's supervisors meeting virtually, but it was Jeremy Taylor who actually chaired that meeting. Supervisor Mark Nelson is also calling for Taylor's resignation. In a statement to KTIV after Tuesday's meeting, Nelson said, in part, at a time when so many are questioning the validity of their vote, this type of conduct only deepens the very real concerns amongst our countrymen, end quote. Nelson and Ung are both Republicans, as is Jeremy Taylor. Now, a KTIV reporter asked Jeremy Taylor for an on-camera comment on his wife's conviction last night before he went into a closed session with the supervisors and the LEC authority. He then went on to act as the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, as we mentioned, during that meeting. There was no mention of the conviction that was made during the 3-hour regularly scheduled supervisors meeting. We then asked him again for an on-camera interview regarding the conviction, as well as actions taken during that supervisors meeting. He then declined again, but said he would send a statement. Jeremy Taylor said this in a statement to KTIV. He said, quote, while this was certainly not the outcome we were hoping for, we respect our court system that allowed the jury to hear my wife's side of the story. Also, we are thankful for our friends, family, and community who know us best and have stood by our side, end quote. In Sioux City, Matt Hoffman, KTIV News 4.